Chicago, hundreds of teachers, parents, and students have launched 3 days of marches to mark a final protest against plans to shutter 54 public schools. The march route includes the targeted schools, which are almost all in low-income Black and Latino neighborhoods in Chicago's South and West Sides. The protests will culminate with a mass demonstration in civil disobedience in downtown Chicago Monday, and direct action is also expected to escalate for Wednesday's scheduled final Board of Education vote over the fate of the schools. Brandon Johnson is an organizer with the Chicago Teachers Union, which led the protests.
People are tired of their communities being disinvested in. People are frustrated with the mayor and CPS ignoring parental, community, and teacher voice. So we want our voices to be heard loud and clear. We want to raise the consciousness of the communities that are most impacted by these failed policies, so that there can be some real conversation about what our students deserve and what education should look like moving forward.
This final week of protests are the culmination of months of marches, demonstrations, and civil disobedience organized by unions, parents, and students, and community organizations. They aim to pressure Chicago's Board of Education to reject the closures. A recent poll found that 6 out of 10 voters oppose the plans. But the board is handpicked by Rahm Emanuel, who says although the closures may be painful, they will help bridge the school system's $1 billion budget deficit.
These proposals have caused community anguish, and I understand that. Change is really hard. Change is frightening, and we all get really uncomfortable when the status quo, even a part of the status quo, is changed. But when the status quo is not working, change is inevitable.
But opponents of the closures got a boost last week when the city's hearing officers, retired state and federal judges, came out against 13 of the closures, arguing they would force parents and children to cross gang lines and endanger their lives. One of the schools cited was Menare, located in the near north side, where the Cabrini Green projects once stood. The city wants to close Menare and send its students to Jenner. Retired Cook County Judge Patty McNamara recommended the school not be closed, saying, quote, "There is a history going back over 40 years of rivalry between the two schools." 2 Chicago police officers on patrol in the area also told the Real News that the closure of Menare would likely cause fights, but they said hopefully not result in gun violence.
I mean, there's going to be fights. It's going to be fights. They're little. You hope they wouldn't be into the gun violence at that age.
Rondell Dennis is also concerned about increased violence. A former gang member who was just released after serving 20 years in prison for shooting and killing a 9-year-old 2 blocks from Jenner, he's dedicated his life to stopping gun violence in the neighborhood where he grew up.
Jenner School is basically ran by the GDs. The Gangster Disciples run Jenner School. And to have the kids from Menare, which are, like I said, on the north side of Division, come over here and connect with the kids in Jenner, it's gonna be mayhem, man. I talked to a lot of the kids from down here. I've even talked to a few of them down there. It's like the ones from down here are waiting for Menare to close so those kids can come down here and they can actually have this fight and, do the little gang banging thing that they want to do. Do not close Menare. Do not close Menare. Come up with some type of alternative solution. Whatever it takes, do not close Menare, because by closing Menare, you're placing these kids' lives in jeopardy.
The city has promised to provide increased security to prevent an outbreak of violence after schools are closed, but when parents inquired about the plans, the city said they had not written them yet.
CPS has not shown me any evidence or anything about their safety patches that they're supposed to be doing, and I think it's not going to work, because they said they're going to hire parents and volunteers and different people, but children come late. We have children in Marconi come late to school from 10:30, 11, 12. I asked Barbara Burton and I asked Safety and Security what they was going to do about that, so they said they were working on it. But I don't believe nothing CPS tell me, because when Safety and Security came to me, they couldn't show me no plan.
Lawyers for parents in the Chicago Teachers Union filed 2 federal class action lawsuits this past week, arguing the closing will disproportionately affect African American and disabled students. And the leadership of the Chicago Teachers Union, the caucus of rank-and-file educators, was reelected to another 3 years in office by a 4-1 margin. Again, Brandon Johnson.
If you look at all the major accomplishments that we've had in this country for poor people, for working class families, for folks to actually get a chance to move towards the middle class, that all of that has been gained through organizing and challenging the status quo, the political structure, the economic structure that is dead set on crushing and marginalizing people. And so if we're going to have a real movement across this country for working families, we have to once again find that place where labor and civil rights meet each other. Remember, it was Dr. King that said that if labor and civil rights were to ever collide and join forces, it would have enormous potential, to say the least, to actually move working families and poor people to a better economic place.
Reporting for The Real News, this is Jessel Noor in Chicago.